What's up, guys? This is Cassie Stats, man. Welcome back for another video. In this video, man, we got NBA YoungBoy will be added to Wad Waves Redemption Tour in June, and it's going to be one of the biggest deals ever in rap. I ain't gonna say rap history, but one of the biggest deals of the year, shit like that. And it's really going to be hot because NBA YoungBoy, he just recently got out of jail and everything like that as well. So we're trying to see how NBA YoungBoy he's gonna stay out of trouble. So far as how's it looking like with his probation and everything like that he got going on, getting out of jail, gotta stay out of trouble, and then doing the tour, it is one of the most safest things a rapper can do, but also at the same time, you can't stop people that's around you and stuff like that as well. And the kind of influence he got as well. The kind of influence he brings around him, very dark energy, very dark energy, very violent energy. He makes the music that people want to go up, wake up and, potentially kill somebody, saying like ops and stuff like that. But, it is what it is. Is how this world is right now. But hopefully this generation is seeing the bigger picture of changing their life around and seeing, what's going to happen to you if you keep on portraying this kind of lifestyle. If you keep on being influenced by a rapper. I'm not saying NBA YoungBoy is any kind of way a bad rapper. I don't like the kind of music he makes so far as his, influencing violence, and shooting and stuff like that. I love NBA YoungBoy in his music so far as his rhythm, so far as his flow, so far as his vocals, so far as his creativity of making the music in his own voice, in his own way, in his own unique style, without saying the violent things. Talking about spin the block on the ops, shooting, killing and stuff like that. I like all rappers. I like all the music. I just don't like the violent part because look around what's going on so far as the internet. You're seeing a lot of young people dying, even in the ages before they turn 10 years old. Can you imagine that? A child never ever, get to see 7, 5 years old, 4 years old, 15 years old, 20 years, their deadline is under 16 years old of living. Under the influence of how this world is now about music, under the influence of saying the word ops, everybody got ops and all this stuff like that, in my opinion, I think it's just made up. It's just made up words to influence people to go do stuff like that, and those that controls the eyes controls the minds. So whatever you wake up listening to, whatever you get up and go do. So far as like for yourself, listening to music early morning, that's your influence in your mind for the day. But Rod Wave, he got his own unique style, or the way he raps and stuff like that as well. I think this tour would be a good tour. I just pray for NBA YoungBoy to be safe because I know that for a fact he's gonna be on probation, and I don't know how strict it's gonna be so far as he was on house arrest. So you mean to tell me that he's gonna be free enough to do a tour? Potential more danger and trouble around him. I am excited for him because he got out. I want him to get back on his money and grind. I want him to get back around, back in the cash flow, back in motion. Don't be in jail. I think jail for him was like a wake up call. Every time he goes back to jail, it's a wake up call for anybody. And it's so many chances that you're gonna get, to eventually, you're gonna be locked up forever in jail. So, I'm just saying, like, look at the situation Lil Durk is in right now, so far as the RICO charge, the murder for hire for King Von. I didn't actually think he would go through. I don't know if he done it or not. I always pray for the best for people, rappers, regardless of their rapper or not, celebrity, anything like that. I just hate he's in this situation, coming from making money, doing tours, doing everything for the city with the big key, everything like that, and for the people to just turn on him like that, you know, that's how fast people will turn on you, regardless what kind of influence you got, stuff like that, you know. NBA YoungBoy, he better be very careful of the people who have around him, the influence, you know, with the drugs and the liquor and the girls and stuff like that, because all this stuff can mess him up and lead him back in jail. That's the last thing I want to hear from him about his story. You know, a story, a story by him going back to jail. Had to cough a little bit, go back to jail a little bit, but just want him to stay in motion and keep doing what he's doing. So this is guy for the video, man. Like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. If you got any comments on how you feel about this video, man, let me know below. And like, comment, subscribe for more videos. Catch the stats, man. Let's get it.